sweet. I got some repair video for y'all. First off, it's hot as the dickens down here, but it's probably good training for when I get my ass down to hell. But here we are, we got a 2014 Cruze, and we're taking that headliner out today. So I wasn't gonna make a video, which is why you can see it's already laying there, removed. I just gotta drag it out of the vehicle. I just wanted to leave it here so I could show you where the tricky spots were. I can't imagine that somebody would be tackling this that was brand new to it, but even if you are, I'll show you where all the little fasteners are and things. It's not super complicated, but it is quite tedious. The reason I'm making this video is we'll walk over here. You see I got these roof rail airbags to replace, and it tore the headliner bad. So I went ahead and just picked up a replacement, but normally the plugs on the harness from the headliners just run down to an A-pillar and unplug. You'll see here they cut this wire, which makes this entire harness absolutely useless to me. And that is because these plugs are a booger to get to. So first things first, you're gonna need a couple of things that aren't super common, I guess, but most likely are. We're gonna need trim removal sticks, we're gonna need push pin pullers, and we're gonna need a little 90-degree hook tool. If you don't have any, I'll put links in the comments. Actually, now I can put a link up here somewhere. It'll be a little card deal data that has links on it. But yeah, other than that, oh, and Torx bits if you don't have Torx bits. So to drop the headliner, what you're gonna wanna do to start is probably sit in the seat. I took my seats out, but you'll see up here, there's a cover that you use your trim stick to remove that goes around your mirror. There's two plugs up here that are these. I actually just popped this sensor out because it was easier. It's just this little pull tab. You just push that back with the trim stick and it'll pop out, right? So that gets this harness free here. And then you're gonna drop the visors off. They have little plastic covers, which I have in here somewhere, but they're buried, so I can't really show you. But you're gonna use either a little hook tool, a tiny flat blade, or a trim stick. The plastic trim sticks, which looks like these, right? And these don't damage plastic, which is why they're great. And you just pop off the little covers that go on them. So one of them, the side that has the arm that swings, I'm sorry that I can't demo this, but I'm just trying to quickly walk through it. It goes through like this hole right here. It'll have the arm that holds the visor itself. It'll have 3 T15 or T20 Torxes in it. So you take all of those out, and then you gotta stick your trim stick in and pop it to get it to come out. The other side that has a retaining hook on the windshield side of it is a little clip you can pop down. Has one Torx bit, drop that out. That gets rid of everything up there. And then the console here, you have to take the cover off at the bottom, and there's 2 Torx bits that screw up in that. Then you come down and you remove your oh shit handles. They're very similar to the hooks on the visors. There's little things you can pop off, little covers, and then there's I think there's 7 mils, or they're also Torxes, I can't remember. You take those out and then you just pull them, they'll pop off. And then there's 3 push pins that run in these holes in the back that go back up here, boom, boom, boom. So you're gonna need a push pin removal tool. You pop all those out, and then the whole thing will come down. And then this is where the hard part is. So these, if you have the visors with the lights, these plugs here, they run up here and they plug in. So the other side reaches the hole. This side, I dropped it down off of the windshield and reached up from the front side to get to it. But this harness is why I'm making the video right here. So if you skip to this point, awesome. So what you have to do to disassemble the harness is you have to remove the entire glove box, right? So you have this panel here on the side of the passenger dash. You pop off with your trim stick. It goes in here, boom, pops off, right? Then you have to get under, and there's this panel that is like a seal panel on the bottom. It sits underneath like that. It has a 7 mil there and a 7 mil there, up like that. You probably want a power ratchet or something short and stubby to get to it. This is what I use, is this little power ratchet with a 7 mil. Once you get that off, you get to drop your airbag down, which is 2 10 millimeters. Once that comes out, then you have a 7 mil here, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom of the glove compartment, and then you just grab it and pop it. And then the entire glove box will come out, which I have laying over here. So you remove this entire assembly. All right, now you got the glove box out, right? We'll go down in here and take a look. You're gonna go up. You'll see I pulled this harness. This harness goes up on the stud up here, and then has a push pin over here on the side. I'm gonna try and get my light right. That holds it over there. I made room. In your hand, you're gonna go all the way up there where those plugs are. Those are the 2 plugs right there that run down this A-pillar underneath this hole in the dash and plug in. Now, let me take a look over here. When you get them exposed, they have little retaining clips that you can see I popped out. They're black. They lock these in. So you gotta fish either a trim stick or a flatbread or a small flathead or a pick tool or something and push those out. Then you can depress these to unplug them. However, if your hands are like mine, I can only fit one hand in there at a time. This push pin was a Dickens. I managed to get my hand on this side of the wire, and then on the top side with my right hand, I grabbed that side and I popped that out because these could not unplug with that holding them in position. All right, so once we got this push pin pulled out, I was able to use my one single hand and press both of these retaining tabs at the same time. And then I used my right hand to pull the wiring harness up here to unplug it because that was the only way I could do it. If you have smaller hands than me, you could probably get 2 hands in there, but I absolutely could not. So sorry for having the headliner already out. I did not plan on making a video here, but if you are fighting this battle trying to figure out how to unplug that harness, that is where it's located. You gotta basically disassemble that entire passenger dash to get up to it, and then be very careful while you unplug it and pull it, and then be very careful when you fish it out of this little gap. The plugs barely fit. But yeah, I got it out, so now I'm gonna drag this headliner out of the car, and then I'm gonna very carefully move my harness over to the new headliner. It's not too big of a deal. I mean, they're just hot glued on, so I'll just go get a hot glue gun and away we go. And luckily it's 108 out today, so this is gonna be fun. Hopefully the hot glue actually cools down enough to dry. But if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Again, sorry I didn't film it while I was doing it. I didn't realize it was gonna be this bad of a deal. But yeah, I mean, everything's pretty straightforward other than that harness location and how you get to that. Obviously the junkyard people didn't know, and when I talked to them, I requested he not cut the harness, and they did it anyway. And the owner was pretty upset, but I mean, it's not an easy deal to get to, but once you get in there, it's not awful. Then if your headliner's not destroyed, you obviously don't want to just drop it down like this. You're going to want 2 people, and you're going to want to carefully lower it. Like, order of events will be important, right? Like, you want to unplug this harness, get it fished out, get all of this stuff unplugged up front. I actually forgot one thing. Let's go on to the driver's side. The wire, if you have tweeters in your car, this wire here, you have to unpin from this A-pillar because it runs down and runs the tweeter on that side. But yeah, so if you want to, if you're trying to preserve your headliner and you need to get in there because you have a sunroof leak or some other issue going on, then you need 2 people. I would do everything on the front side here, get all of your wiring harness disconnected, ready to go. Push pins while you have 2 people to help lower it. Then you very carefully work it out the back door. Yep, so any questions, throw them in the comments, but it's pretty straightforward. Good luck, it's not fun, but it is very much doable.